long time since I've done a deck profile for this deck, Starlight Synchron, aka Warrior, Synchron, and Stardust. In the time, I think, what was it? I think it was Blazing Dominion when the new support came out. Now we're finally in Chaos Origin for the deck, and I'm going to show you what new things I've done and what old things I've done. When I'm putting the deck together, especially in these sleeves, and I want to be very, very, very careful with these sleeves, just because I want to prolong them. I do plan on just getting regular over sleeves. I probably won't find the border ones that are on these. I just want to prolong the sleeve. Now, speaking of this deck, I kind of have to do this in segments, really, because there's no other way to really do it with usage support. It's not like Jack support where it's like, okay, you retrained the old monsters, and I can see where you got the inspiration from. It's more like you retrain the old monsters, but you retrain the other old monsters, and you retrain the other old monsters. And now there's a bunch of different piles of old monsters. I have all of UC's newer support in my Kaiba briefcase, or what I like to refer to as my trunk. And holding that pile of cards, I had it split up. Actually, I had it all unified, and then I had it split up because it was too hard to keep track of. But I had a pile for the Junk Warrior stuff, for the Stardust stuff, for the Crimson Dragon stuff, for the Warrior stuff, and then for the Synchron stuff. And that's already about 5 piles. Not to mention the pile for the Assault Mode stuff. And then I think there's another pile for the other, actually, yeah. So it's actually about 6 or 5 piles, depending how you do it, or maybe even 7. But either way, I'm going to show you the old support, the Blazing Dominion support, and then finally the glorious, I think the Battles of Legend support that we got. And all in time for this format or whatever booster box, mainline booster box, Chaos Origin. So as you know from the Legendary Dex 5Ds. I totally forgot about the name of the set. I think it's a must-have in order to start the combos to do it, but it is a brick. You really don't want to search for it. If you open with it, it helps you get into your plays. It's going to be 3 Scrap Synchron. I don't know where to put these exactly, but it is 3 Scrap Synchron. Scrap Synchron at 3. If you open it up, normal summon a level 2, and then go into Scrap Warrior. Playing this card, for the tuner lineup, it feels like you're going to play this at 1, but you kind of need to search for it or get to it somehow. Playing it at 2, I wouldn't think so. There's better slots for a 2, and then playing it at 3 finally is like better. I don't know how else to say it. It's like, yeah, you want to open up with it. Though granted, I do only play 1 Scrap Warrior. If you play any more Scrap Warrior, 3 really does. I feel like it's more, value, bang for your buck, basically. Another 3 of that I don't think it would be possible to put this card any lower is actually Synchro Fellowship, because of the fact that it gets you the Junk Synchron and it gets you any monster that you want to discard or to help you with your play. Also, the added effect of banishing it to target and then to normal summon again. It's very great, and you do want to open with it, and you don't really want to search it. I mean, the 1-card combo does search you the card, but it's a 1-card combo, but you do want to open with it. Another card you want to open with that is part of the old support is actually Full Speed Warrior, as we know, normal summon, and he gets you this gets you this, and Junk Synchron. So he is technically the bread and butter, the starter of the deck, and I love that. There are problems though, because when we're talking about starters and 1-card combos in Yu-Gi-Oh, this isn't a 1-card combo, or a starter, I should say, is 1-card combo starter. These 2, however, are. This one better than this one, kinda. There's trade-offs here, but that usually you want 3 copies of your 1-card combos starters to be either 5 through 7. Here we're in impasse. We are in an impasse because there are only 3. So we are at 3 cards at 3, basically. I thought about putting the assault mode engine in here, that easily raises it to at least 5, if not 6. One card starters at 3, which is really good. I think it was Psy Reflector, or what was his name? Yeah, I think Psy Reflector is his name. Assault mode, Crimson Blader, and then of course the Field Spell. And all those cards launch you into a 1-card combo. You would have 6, and then you have one more for 3 of. Not too sure what to put, but it is doable. The only problem comes with the rest of the um, junk warrior support. That is kind of what I don't want to leave behind, but I feel like if I go down a path or if I start combining things, I'm going to have to leave some members behind, and I don't feel too good currently doing that. Maybe in the future I will, but it's just not a current thing I want to do. So I said, you know what, we're going to try to keep this as pure as possible. So with that in mind, I'm going to show you the rest of the Junk Warrior support that's in the deck, and then we'll go over the support that got newer and released. Newer releases, I should say. So, of course, we're going to tackle the main star of the deck, I would say, and that would be 2 copies of Junk Synchron. Put them down here for now. There's no, what is it? With this card, you have to search Junk Synchron, and it's not. It's the fact that if you want to get value with this card in the long run, like, after turn 3 or something, or after, I should say, turn 2. The problem with Junk Synchron at 2, or I should say at 3, is when you open up your hand, it's kind of the same reasoning as Scrap Synchron, but in the reverse. You don't really want to open with him. You rather just search him via this card, obviously. But if you have him at 1 later on in the duel, this is going to lose its value, and it just won't be as good as it can be. At 2, however, you can waste 1 Junk Synchron, and then later on be able to waste the other one for a comeback or something. In Yu-Gi-Oh, duels don't last more than 1 turn, so this is more a just in case. Usually how when you operate the deck, or play the deck, I should say, operate the deck, you tend to lose a level 3 at maximum twice in 1 turn. So you're either going to lose all your Junk Synchrons and then have no room for a comeback if you can't get the victory, or you're going to need to fill up on level 3s. We'll get to that when we get to that, but the next member is Anchorbot Hedgehog at 2. This is simply because of this card. Just search for Junk Synchron, discard Anchorbot, or get this one or this one, and if you have Anchorbot in hand, discard them. It's kind of going to work that way for everything else. The main basis of this deck is the Junk Warrior support cards being a engine to facilitate synchro summoning. That's how I view it, at least. Like, finally, Yusei's deck has a main deck, right? When you think of Jack's main cards, you think of the Resonators, and you think, oh, level 5 Dark Fiends, or at least just Dark Fiends in general. And we've seen that in recent support, especially with the cards he used in the anime. For Yusei, to mirror Jack, we'll say that he used a lot of little guys, and of course they retrain all his really familiar cards like Quillbot Hedgehog, becoming Anchorbot, Full Speed Warrior, becoming Speed Warrior, become Full Speed Warrior. Along with that, now we have the Scrap Synchron, which is a cool little level 1. I do think he is far more better than Jet Synchron, but it depends how you play the deck, and that's what a lot of these decisions all boil down to, is it depends how you play the deck. You can play the deck without any of these level 2s that I'm showing you right now. Not level 2s, these 2 of cards that I'm showing you. And that would be a different build. You're going down a different path, but it's not a wrong path. It's kind of hard to do this because I wanted to have all the little support guys at 2. So the next little guy I want to show you, and it's really hard for me to quantify it because I'm not too sure if he's not really a defensive card, but he's not really an offensive card either. But I guess at the end of the day, it's really how you use him. and that is Crossroads Sonic Check, level 1. And I do have to say a little side note about it. Level 1 in this deck, 10 out of 10. That's why it was so hard for me to get rid of Stardust Warm. However, I didn't want to play all these cards at 2, and I wanted 2 of this card because when it leaves the field, it does banish itself. But when it does come out and there's another card that lists Junk Warrior, um, it puts all your opponent's monsters into defense position. You can use this very I can't say the word, but very interestingly, we'll just say it like that. You can block a preemptive attack, and then if you commit to the Junk Warrior stuff, you could get Scrap Fist and then do lots of damage to your opponent, which is really great. Puts the monster in defense. It'll be double damage and it'll be piercing. But if you're going to use him for what I'm using him for, and it's not really the Junk Warrior stuff, that's just like a bonus effect. He's a material that can come back, and we all know how crazy Level Eater is. I'll just say that. Sadly, this card has to be in your hand or graveyard if a tuner is sent to your grave, which means you cannot use him as material and then bring back the card. You kind of have to use this as material and then go into another synchro and then bring this back in order to do that. The way I've done combos with this deck has been kind of a little weird, I guess. I don't know. I feel like maybe I haven't thought thoroughly enough through the combos, but I've been thinking a lot through the combos. But this card, I did want a 2 of. We're going to put it in the 1 of section, though. Well, you know what? I guess I can put the 1 ofs down here if we're really, doing things with the mat. But so yeah, it was a 2 of, but I moved it down to a 1 of. 1 ofs are the cards I want to search for, though. So I kind of don't really want to search for this. I kind of want this to be either in my hand or I search for it. So I kind of want it to be a 2 of, like this. This is the card I'm going to play 1 of, and that is One Way Synchro. Everyone kind of laughed at this card, and I was like, well, it's Yusei. Yusei's not going to trash a card. Yusei's going to say every card has its value. So what is the utility with One-Way Synchro? One-Way Synchro gets you a tuner, a level 1 tuner, so you either special summon it or add it to your hand. That's very interesting. Well, what level 1 Synchro or what level 1 tuner do I need? Well, as you guys know, if you've been following my videos, the level 1 tuner I tend to get with this card and use as boss monsters actually Convergent Will's Dragon. So on my opponent's turn, I can bring out a Shooting Majestic Star Dragon who's unaffected by activated card effects. He's a big Towers monster, and he's also an Omni-Negate that banishes. I don't know why you wouldn't want that, especially if you're doing a Stardust deck like me, but this basically turns in the whole engine into a 1-card or 2-card engine, basically. And it's very searchable in this deck. You can even chuck this to the graveyard, set it at the same turn, end your turn, and then still use the effect. It's very interesting. But other than this, I don't see the application except for maybe boosting up Junk Warrior during the battle phase by bringing out another Scrap Synchron, or making sure you don't die, because Yusei was very, very, let's say, defensive player. You'd go to attack him for game, and he'll end up doing something to make sure he blocks the damage. So it's a very Yusei card in that regard. Okay, so on to the new support that complicates the deck. Let's go with something that's not too new, but it's not too old either. Assault Sonic Warrior. There's a newer card that does shoot this card. What was it? The shoot's actually this card. So this was going to be 2 of. This was going to be 1 of. Kinda. I didn't know where to put this one at because I hadn't really playtest with him. However, if you do what I do with making Shooting Majestic Star Dragon on your opponent's turn, if you use him as material when you have this guy out, look, you need him for the Shooting Majestic Star Dragon part. But when he's sent to the graveyard as synchro material, he boosts up all your synchro monsters, I think, or all monsters currently controlled by 500. You may not think that matters, but a 45 towers is pretty. You're not going to get over that. And that's really cool, I think personally, because you have Quasar, you have just these monsters that don't have that much attack. Quasar has like a lot of attack. I mean, in regards like Stardust Dragon, I meant like that. Just boosting it by 500 can really change the pace of the duel. And in regards to another deck I love playing, Lunalight, Lunalight only goes to 38 if they're not playing the wacky tech that I'm going to be showing off in that deck profile. But basically, what happens is they just can't overcome your 4,500 attack dragon, which is epic. It's nice. It's great. So of course, assaults on the warriors applications are also OTKing with Junk Warrior. If you go into extreme, he'll bump. I think. Okay, I gotta read this. Is it just synchros? I forgot already. Um, all monsters. Okay. So he'll bump up extreme by 500, and then after you crash and you go into Junk Warrior, Warrior will now have even more attack because of this guy. So that's really great. The best use case for him, though, in all honesty, is if you normal summon him and he gets Veilored or Imperm, so you can't search this out, but you still have this in hand or something, you can special summon this guy. Oh wait, I forgot. Yeah, you don't have him in hand. You can special summon him. He searches a Synchron, which would be Scrap Synchron, and then you could go into the level 3 and then continue your plays. That's really good. That's like on a whole level of like really good because most modern Yu-Gi-Oh decks, not most, I think all of them, like we're talking about 2026 decks and 2025 decks can definitely play through like 2, 3 hand traps. And the subpar board is like a really good board anyway for like casual Yu-Gi-Oh. So if they stop him, but he's still on the field, you can special summon this as long as a monster mentions Junk Warrior or a summon activate. Use his effect to search Scrap Synchron and then go into a play. Go into Scrap Warrior, I mean, and then go into the whole 1 card combo. He searches any Synchron and Assault Mode Activate. I did mess around with Assault Mode Activate, and honestly, I couldn't not fit it into the deck and make it work. I could fit it into the deck. It just made the deck try to do like 8 different things at once, and I was like, I think if you're gonna do the Assault Mode stuff, you kind of have to be a little dedicated with it. The biggest minus about the Assault Mode stuff, even though it turns this whole deck, by the way, if I didn't want to play the Majestic stuff, this could be Assault Mode Activate, and this could be Stardust Dragon / Assault Mode. And it gets wilder because you could also just play Junk Warrior / Assault Mode, and it's like, well, whatever happens, happens, and I could just go to either one of them. So using this deck and the Junk Warrior support for it, you can even make the Assault Mode a 2-card engine, or 2-card engine in total. So imagine this being Assault Mode Activate and this being Stardust Dragon / Assault Mode, and even if you wanted to, you could put Assault Mode Junk Warrior, and let's say you hard open one of the others, one of the two. Later on in the duel, you could summon out the other one. No big deal. Again, if you want to, you don't have to. But that's also kind of a problem with the Assault Mode engine, is that I kind of have to pick my favorite. I'm kind of trying to do a going first deck, and the Junk Warrior stuff is going to be me closing out the game. So me putting Junk Warrior / Assault Mode in the deck wouldn't really be helpful, so I'd rather go with Stardust Dragon / Assault Mode. But the biggest problem is, if I hard open Stardust Dragon Assault Mode, there's no way to put it back into the deck for me to summon it out again. Until they release a Yusei support, that kind of won't happen. However, because of him, you don't really need to play any of the Assault Mode stuff, which is kind of interesting and funny. I know for the official Dual Opera, Yusei actually summoned out Nightwing Cleric, and she got him the Assault Mode card. He went to Stardust Dragon / Assault Mode. Is really cool. But with this support, it's very easy to get him in your hand and it's very easy to special summon him, and it's very easy to search out Assault Mode Activate. You search out this and Assault Mode Activate like nothing, and I haven't figured out how to set up the pieces and what to put in the one of space yet, where you could basically use both engines. A lot has to do with another card that's at 3 of, but it doesn't really work in a 1 card combo, and I have made it work, but I had to use all cards in my hand, and I want to do that combo, but like every single duel, if I go first and if my opponent doesn't interrupt me, or even if they do interrupt me, I still want to end on that combo. But the fact that it uses all the hand cards that I have is pretty bad. Because you know, if your back's against a wall in a duel and you got your 1 card combo down, and then you just win with the 1 card combo because you know how to do the 1 card combo, it's kind of like that. Let's say like I had to get a Destiny draw or something. My opponent was like a monster with like, I don't know, just a whole board of stuff, but they didn't really do anything on my turn, or they're out of stuff or whatever. I don't even know how to explain this, and I just got to close out the game with normal summon full speed warrior, go full combo. Um, Even if I'm missing the pieces with the one ofs, and then end up just winning the game. This is better looked at actually in Lunalight, since the one ofs aren't really that big of a deal. In this deck, the one ofs are more huge of a deal. I think the one ofs actually dictate how this deck is played, since mainly these cards that you want kind of just flow into them very easily. But the Sammo stuff is really awesome. If you want to play it, you can do that. I really like the Shooting Majestic Stars Dragon monster, so that's why I play this, and it's very easy to get. And even if he's in my hand, I could discard him with Synchro Fellowship, and one-way Synchro is going to set him anyway, or summon him out from the graveyard anyway. So it's not really a huge L or a huge minus, and I'm getting a big Synchro monster to boot. So that's the trade-offs with the assault mode stuff. Currently, as it stands, will we be getting any more assault mode stuff? I highly doubt it, but people weren't really thinking about a assault mode retrain, even if they did the 5D stuff. I think Jack feels more like a character that would use the assault mode activate stuff. I wouldn't think Yusei would be a character that would use it. But I kind of want a Shooting Star Dragon / Assault mode, even though it would be really hard to use because of everything I just listed. But this deck makes it possible where you could do that. Hopefully, it has a really cool effect of basically shuffling it and optionally another Assault mode card into your deck, or just better yet, just putting them on the bottom so that you're able to actually go into them. So along with this support, another card was released in the same set, and that was, of course, Junk Signal. And this is the card that you really have to use in order to do the full combo with both engines, the Shooting Star, the one-way Synchro engine, or the Shooting Star engine, the Converging Will stuff, and the Assault mode Activate stuff. And it's all because of Junk Signal. He's able to just put a piece on your board, or he's able to revive Stardust back, so you're able to flip Assault mode Activate to send Stardust off again. But the problem with that is that his effect is also a negate. If it was just that first effect, I would be like, yeah, use this to get the trade-off or whatever. But if they try to stop Speeder, you want to negate with this, so you could go into your Excel Synchro monsters and all that stuff. So that's why this card's at 3 currently. Honestly, if there was a better one, if they release like another card for a 1 card combo, this is definitely a 2 of. In all honesty, I think this card's a good 2 of. In engine, you search this card anyway. Like when you're, how do I explain this? Like you normal summon him. This may be already be in your hand. So you search one-way Synchro. You're always almost going to put this in the graveyard, or this in the graveyard, or this in your hand, or him in your hand. These are live. These are like always live. It's crazy. And Junk Signal, if these are somehow in your hand or you don't want them, you can go for Junk Signal instead. and then if junk signal's in your hand, you just get these instead. It's really crazy. These are also classified as extenders. So they're here in the extender spot. See, look, I could put like 3 junk synchron here, and then it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was debating about making this deck actually have 7, like 3 ofs in it, but I was like, no, because I want to play a lot of the 2 ofs to just help it. And after telling you about his effect, that if they stop this, this one helps. It's better, activate effect, they ghost bell, junk, well, he comes out anyway, you go into speeder. So that's how the deck is like formed, and it's really great. The other support though I gotta talk about, so the other support that I gotta talk about is actually the newest support. And this is why the deck is like complicated now. Maybe I should have like done this beforehand, but I feel like if I did with these cards, I would have just taken out the whatever else was in the deck. Me playtesting this entire time was me playtesting Junk Signal and then this along with, yeah. So I bought these when they were about $7 through $9, and then they spiked up to like 15, 16. It was crazy. I don't know why they're that expensive, but they are. Then again, Revolution Synchron was like 45. I know Assault Synchron was definitely 45, and oh no, Revolution was 45. They're both 45. Both tuners were just really expensive. People were going crazy. All you needed was one of them, though. Luckily, I pulled my Assault Synchron. It's really awesome that happened. Okay, you know what Junkmeister does? He is a free special summon in a deck where like you need to normal summon and they need to give you another normal summon for that. He's a free special summon that either gets you into speeder, or he gets you into the main combo, or he gets you into um a XL Synchro Stardust Dragon. It's really crazy. I would assume you guys would already know what Junkmeister does. Apparently, Meister means master. I think this is really cool. What they're doing is that this is a manga card, so everything else is like anime reference, anime whatever, and there's like new TCG card. This is a manga Yusei card, and in the manga, Yusei used more of the junk archetype. In the show, he didn't really use the junk archetype. In the manga, he really uses the junk archetype. It's kind of funny. So, Junkmeister is a manga card along with another card that's in the deck. You should already know what card that is. And basically, his effect was not all this, but they basically amped up his effect, so it's all that. His effect's something weird about like gaining attack or something like that, I think, or like when it's destroyed, you summon out a monster. It's something very specific, something very manga only, and a lot of his manga cards have been printed already. I think there's like less than 5. Junk Dragonlet is a manga card. I don't even know if I pronounced that correctly. And of course, Junk Mail is also another manga card, another junk card. Junk Meister, and then of course the Junk Armor. So Junk Armor, I really like the artwork. I really like that secret rare. He was so cheap, it was insane. I've seen some lists, they only play one of him, and that makes sense. But the problem is, like, what if you open the one of, and then how are you going to play it? So, from playing Lunalight, I just decided, you know what, we're just going to keep this at 2. And that's why it complicates things, because if I remove Junk Armor, I could put 2 copies of Chick, and then it's like, okay, all the buddies are here at 2, is really great. Now, Chick is over here, and Armor is here, and the only reason why Armor is at 2 is because this is at 3, and then what if I open this? And guess what? It's happened, where this is in my hand, and this is in my hand. So I'm like, well, what happens now? Well, luckily I play 2 of them, so then I activate Meister's Effect, add the second copy, summon the second copy, tribute him, and then we could go anywhere. You could bring out a level 1 tuner to go into speeder. You could go ahead and go into level 4 synchron, start a synchron, get this card, and then go into Stardust, or you could go into the new Victim Sanctuary, It's really awesome. This is like 10 out of 10. This card's like a new like one card like zero. I don't know what to call it, and it changes the board completely when you play and use this instead. Um, this is like I don't even want to say. Usually you go with him, but if you go him later, which is like I said, it just changes everything. That is mainly the deck, but the couple cards I'm going to show change the deck dramatically. One card that I've never really wanted to take out was Stardust Synchron. I think he's a really good one of. Back in the past, when the Majestic stuff came out for the Stardust engine, I like to call it the Stardust engine, um, it would be like two Stardust Synchrons, if not three, and then like three Trail. So technically that'd be one, two, three, and then four, five. So technically it would be five. Sorry, not three Trail, three Stardust Illumination, and it was really cool because I was like, okay, all the I'm gonna go into my Stardust engine. I'm gonna go into Stardust Excel Synchro, and then I'm gonna bring out the Shooting Majestic and everything. Because of all this new support, honestly, you just need this and this and this, and then that's it. You could do other stuff with the Stardust engine because it's really easy to get out Stardust Dragon now, and you could use a illumination to get out Trail as an extender, and of course she makes a token which she's used for a warrior synchron or Stardust monster, which is really great that she has that synergy with her. Currently right now I'm kind of just going bare bones, just like UC Final Duel deck. Like I want to see how it all works, how it's all fluid. You're supposed to use him in this archetype anyway, so I want to just see what the outcome is. Is it a good outcome? Is it a bad outcome? Um, Looking at the deck, looking at things, I've kind of come to the understanding that maybe in the future I will actually put Trell in here, and I may even put back Arrive in Light, just because of the fact that with Will Synchron being in here, you could go ahead and special summon Will Synchron, activate his effect, don't summon Junk Synchron, get out of that monster, do more crazier stuff. Will Synchron is another one of, and then of course the Revolution Synchron that I was just talking about is another one of. These cards really change the dynamic of the deck. If I take out him entirely and I stick Crossroads Chick in here at a 2 of, I can stick a Assault Synchron in here. And this happened one time, they negate your if they negate your Scrap Warrior, he's level 3, Assault is level 2. You pay 700, summon him out, and then you can go right into Speeder. That happened in the game, and that saved me a lot. However, it's a little, it's a little different though. And I really like that version of the deck, but I really wanted to put him in and see how it works with him. There's also another angle to doing this, and that was actually 2 Chick and 1 of him. But now it feels like I'm going out of my way for him, and the whole like, oh, they negated my play. Let me summon this from my hand because he's in my hand because he's at 2. Feels a little different. You know what I mean? It's just how it is. If Junk Meister wasn't here yet, and Junk Armor wasn't here yet, I probably would have 2 Chick and just to see how that goes. But Junk Meister is here, and I don't want to play without it because it's so powerful, so good. So 10 out of 10. And Junk Armor's really great because you're searching that, but he gets any Junk card. So just in case, for any reason, you're not going for Junk Armor, you can still get Junk Synchron and Junk Signal, and this could help out a lot. Other than that, the rest of my deck is just tech cards. Currently, I'm on Called by the Grave as a one of to complete the 7 1-ofs that I play in the deck, and the other 2-ofs are Imperm, Ash, Ghost Spell, Ghost Ogre, and of course the card we all hate, Draw Lockbird, because I don't want to lose to decks that die to this. And that's pretty much it for the deck profile. The only reason why it's these cards is because Ash, Imperm, and Bell are like universal, and then Draw is kind of like becoming more universal now. Hopefully the meta changes so we don't have to use this anymore. Ghost Ogre is for the new meta, and that's pretty much it. But like if you're not playing the current meta, Ash, Imperm, Ghost Spell, and then like you have 4 free slots to do whatever, 2 of. Usually though, when it comes to these cards right here, the last 11 cards of the deck, I'm counting Called By as well as a tech card, whatever. You change these out for whatever meta you're facing or whatever. They could all be synchro related cards if you're just playing tabletop Yu-Gi-Oh! And you just really like this deck, or just want to play with your friends. You don't have to do that, but these cards are 11 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And that's mainly for balance of the whole deck, because if I open up and it's not these 2 ofs, I want it to at least be some hand traps. But other than that, the deck's really crazy like that. The last portion of cards I'm going to show you guys is actually the extra deck. The extra deck did not change at all, except for the 2 cards Scrap Warrior and Stardust, no, Junk Warrior Extreme. But I did take it apart like 8 times. I did put it back together like 9 times. I had Nightwing Sorcerers, I had Crimson Dragon. I was trying out all the support and see what I liked personally. And that's kind of the thing with this archetype and now this deck, is that it is up to you and what pathway you want to choose in order for what you want to play. If you want to go full Crimson Dragon, I'm summoning, all the level 12 dragons. You can absolutely do that, and it's actually a 1 card combo, and you just have to switch around a couple things. And I did it, and I remembered before the new support, and what was it? Um, yeah, it was before the full speed stuff came out, I believe, actually. That I struggled really hard with the deck in order to do that with just the old support and the Stardust stuff, in order to get out Crimson Dragon, a level 12, and then be able to go into banish Cosmic, target Cosmic, and then return Crimson Dragon for Blazar, and then get out Shooting Quasar. That was really hard for the deck. You could 1 card combo into both of those with this. And depending on your hand, you're actually going to get out maybe a level 10 synchro. I could be wrong about that. I'm trying to really remember. Or at least one of your level 12s is going to be like unaffected by activated card effects. Is really great. Depending on the hand, you can also go Assault Mode activate, Shooting Majestic Star, and then Shooting Quasar Dragon. Again, that's if you play the Assault Mode stuff. It all depends on the hand now. So the ceiling of the deck has always been really, really high. Okay, what I mean by that, because that sounds really funny, is that it's always been Quasar at the top, but getting there has always been really, really hard, or like a Quasar-like monster. The 1 card combo sets you up with a level 5 and a level 2, so all you have to do is make a level 5 again, and then you could go into Quasar. The harder part of that is that I also want to set up a level 10 monster, just as not backup, but more pressure on my opponent. So I want to either blow up their whole field, or start or just negate a monster summon basically. And it's not hard to do that. It's kind of like what do I want to do, and it's like I don't know what I want to do. It's not like I can't do this every turn, every like duel, and it's like it's a little inconsistent. That's because I don't have Assault Synchron. Um, and it's so funny and weird to me that 1 card changes the entirety of this deck. If somehow, some way, I could put Assault Synchron in here, this deck would be really perfect. But Called by the Grave is too good of a card to do that. They have to maybe ban Called by the Grave. I don't want them to do that, but okay, whatever. In order to put Assault Synchron. And the reason why I don't want to take out Revolution Synchron is because then I have to put in Assault Synchron, and then I have to waste a Junk Synchron if I do a combo. It's really easy to go into Stardust, Assault, what was it? Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon, because level 5, level 3, and then just boom, the monster, bring out Scrap, do this, tribute Scrap, get out level 1, go into a level 5, and like you're halfway there. If Quillbot's in the graveyard, and then you're able to set this card, you already have Shooting Majestic Star Dragon, and you have a level 12. It's so easy. I did a combo video. No, I did a combo and I sent a picture of the end result to a friend of mine. And I was like so proud of myself that I was able to bring out both shooting Majestic Star Dragon and shooting Quasar. And that combo, like luckily I did it here on this desk and everything because it was like a 30-minute like breaking my head trying to find out how do I do this. And it was like from a one card combo, like I was really testing myself. Oh my god. In this deck, you can casually bring out both, which is so insane. And it just slightly matters how you're set up. And the thing is, you don't even need scrap to do that. And what I mean by that specifically is, I was it when it's time to like go into that stuff. I have like two scraps on the board. One I tribute, so I don't even need because of junk signal. So if that was actually an assault synchron, I can go from two negates to three negates, three very powerful negates, which is insane. That does not count for the fact that I drew a card off of. Oh my god, how did I do the combo? I forgot. I think there's a variation of that combo where I get out Stardust Charge Warrior and I draw a card. So my point is that does not account for any hand traps that I have, and again, it's a one card combo doing this minus the discard. But if it's like Quillbot in your hand, that's like really good anyway, because during your opponent's turn you bring him out, and then you go into shooting Majestic Star Dragon, you go into Quasar, you're gonna Ash them, you're gonna Imperm them, and you're gonna Call by the Grave them, and then you're gonna have one negate a Majestic, bring Majestic back, negate again, and you have Quasar negate. It's really crazy. And that's only because you have Assault, but I took them out, so I don't have that extra negate, but I still have the ability to summon out those two very powerful monsters, which is insane. A lot of this is just skill base, as in it comes down to me as a duelist to really master this deck and just fluidly just do the combo. The only problem with doing that combo is that if this is in my hand, it gets really hard, and I kind of have to sacrifice pieces in order to do something. That's the only reason why I was thinking about putting the Arrive in Light stuff, because if I activate Arrive in Light, Synchro Summon, I could just summon him out and then help fix some of that. But you don't want him in your hand, sadly. And if he's in your hand, maybe it's just best to discard him, or if possible, normal summon. Somehow, some way, find a way to normal summon this guy. You do have this for that, but it would be best to summon this out and then use this, get him out, and then whatever. It's complicated, but I kind of hope to take him out, and then things are getting like a little bit more complicated because of the Synchro Emergency really promoting the whole Excel Synchro stuff. I did try to play test with Steam Synchron. It wasn't it. So I put back Revolution Synchron because at least he's going to do something later on. Maybe bring him out, so I contribute him for Stardust Synchron or something. But that's the only reason why Steam's not here, because I did play a couple duels with Steam, and Steam wasn't doing anything at all. The only thing he did was bring out a Excel Synchron, and that wasn't much, honestly. So for the extra deck, oh my god, this was supposed to be about the extra deck. Okay, I am still playing the Formula Synchron, 25th anniversary rarity. You have to play it. No, that's a joke. Scrap Warrior. I think we all know this guy. Excel Synchron, Junk Speeder, and then finally Junk Warrior. These are like my 5 Warrior guys. In the past, Scrap Warrior was actually Jet Warrior. I don't think you need Jet anymore, but Jet still has a cool utility of bouncing a card back to the hand, and of course also being able to tribute a level 1 or lower monster to bring back a level 5 Synchro to go into your Excel Synchros. Not a quick effect, but still a good card. Still good, revive. You know what I mean? It's just because some cards don't have that utility of coming back, except for this guy and this guy now, but you know what I mean. Actually, you could bring this back, tribute him to bring out Jet Warrior. Also, in case you're curious of how to summon Jet Warrior, remember Scrap is a substitute for any Synchron. Also, the new Star Junk is the same thing, so you can actually go into Jet Warrior pretty easy now. The next two cards are going to be held off for later. Uh, we'll talk about that later. The next card is, of course, the Stardust Dragon 25th anniversary. I put my old Junk Synchron, my old Junk Warrior, my old Stardust into a collector's binder, actually. Or it's slated to go into a collector's binder once the binder actually arrives, but so far it's just in my briefcase chilling in there. Assault Synchro Stardust Dragon, Junk Warrior Extreme, and Satellite Warrior. One, two, three, four, five. Oops, sorry. Hold on. Yeah, so that concludes that line of cards. Like I said, we'll talk about this later on. So the next five, because I like to do this, break up my pairs just to help the extra deck a little better, is Satellite Warrior. He's a boss monster in the deck. He dies, I bring back the rest, or he comes out, he pops a bunch of cards, gain a lot of attack. Really good interruption. Let's say your opponent sets 5, you could go into him and then just pop their background, and usually they just scoop. Stardust Warrior, he negates summons, love that. I know it's easier to get out Satellite Warrior than it is for Stardust, because Stardust is a true XL Synchro monster, while Satellite is just a bigger Synchro. But I get them out the same way through the whole using a tuner and a tuner synchro and a non-tuner synchro. And Stardust Warrior, every time I've needed him, I just go into him. It's not hard, especially if you do the whole thing where you get out the level 1 and you use the level 4 for the Excel Synchron, and then you go Speeder and Excel into either of these. It's whatever. Not whatever in a bad way, but like whatever, like in a casual, like you just do it if you want to. You don't have to bend it backwards in order to summon him out. The next 3 cards are the final boss monsters of the deck. This card is in here only because of the last card in the extra deck, and that is Shooting Star Dragon. Shout out Shooting Star Dragon. The cool thing about him is he's a level 10 dragon. If he's on the field and I just normal summon Converging Wills, we could go into the next boss monster shooting Majestic Star Dragon. And of course, the final boss monster is shooting Quasar Dragon. If Quasar dies, Shooting Star comes out. That's really cool. I like that as a backup thing. It's not always going to happen because shooting Quasar is a when. So it's more like if they attack it through battle somehow and they destroy it or they dark hole it or whatever, he can just float into a Shooting Star Dragon, and Shooting Star Dragon, it's not bad, honestly. If and by the way, hand traps are tuners. Or tuners are no wait. Was it like Ghost Bell, Ghost Ogre, Ash? They are all tuners. So if I use his effect, I may reveal them. So I may end up revealing them. I should say that, and I'll be able to attack multiple times to close out the game. Really cool effect, very anime. Last time I did it though, I was out of tuners, and I still took the risk, and I got nothing out of it, sadly. The last 2 cards are definitely what is referred to as flex spots. You can't even see it from over there. The last 2 cards are definitely referred to as flex spots because these can be anything. This could be a Crimson Dragon. This could be a Nightwing Sorceress. Nightwing Cleric, I mean. Sorry, whoops, wrong card. And it also depends how this is set up as well. If some cards were removed, you may add a card or may not. Because I have Will, and Will is 5, 6, 7, or 5, 6, 4, 5, 6. I decided to keep on playing these 2 monsters just because they're very flexible. If I have a level 4 and a level 2, I could go into charge, and then sometimes after I go into charge, I have the level 1 scrap just sitting there, so I go into shooting Riser. And then with Riser's effect, I will send a Anchorbot Hedgehog, and then making him level 5. And then we could go into any of these 2, and then on my opponent's turn, I could still bring out Anchorbot Hedgehog to go into the shooting Majestic Star Dragon. So these are really, really cool flex cards, basically, to have in the extra deck. And I'm seeing if they come up at all. Honestly, Charge Warrior does not come up, especially if you do this as a 1-card combo because you're already using the level whatever, level 4 Stardust Synchron. He has really come up rarely, and really not that much at all. But if they do come up, I'll write that down, see if like I need to keep these or not. I know in the future if I don't need to keep these, one is definitely going to become Stardust Dragon Victim Sanctuary, and then the other one, I don't know what's going to become of that one. I did in some replays you're going to see, because I'm like doing Master Duel replays right now, is Cosmic Quasar. Yeah, I replaced this one for Cosmic Quasar, and it's really cool to be able to have him be a towers for a turn, and then on my turn, target a bunch of cards on the field. Or sorry, it does not target. Select a bunch of cards on the field up to the number of materials plus one. So you're at you got to use 3 materials for a summon. The tuner, a tuner synchro, and 2 not tuner synchros, and then plus one. So that's 4 cards you're non-targeting negating on the field, and they cannot negate hit that effect. The other effect can be activated in the battle phase, where you tag him out and you can bring out Quasar. This is what makes Assault Synchron so much powerfuler, because if you have Assault Synchron in this lineup, you attack with 4K, banish, bring out Quasar, banish Assault Synchron, bring out the Cosmic Quasar. So you attack with Cosmic Quasar, and then you attack with Shooting Quasar, and you just end the game that way. Quasar, though, Shooting Quasar will not have the multiple attacks on it. It will only have basically one attack, because it wasn't. You didn't use any materials for its attack. Honestly, I would like a retrain of Cosmic Blazar as Shooting Blazar, since they gave this Cosmic Quasar, and I would like it to do some really wacky stuff. Honestly, if you're bringing out a level 12 synchro, have it have a lot of synergy with Warrior Synchron and Stardust. Actually, if 5 or more cards in your graveyard list these synchro, if they list these names and are synchro monsters, do this crazy effect. But for now, these are definitely like flex spots, and if anything happens or comes up, I'll keep that like noted basically. But that's the entirety of the deck. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching.